Good morning, my dear students. I'm Miss Tania Poveda. Welcome to Entrepreneurship 2. Today, we're going to study the last part about focus group. So today, we're going to learn how to prepare a good one. Are you ready? Okay. But first, make sure that you save this information on your computer or you print it and have it with you, okay? So like that, you can check it, you can listen and watch whenever you need to. Well, when talking about how to prepare a good focus group, it's very important. We know that we have to plan ahead, which means that you plan first before starting one. Here, it's very important we understand that we need to plan questions like you do during an interview. A focus group requires a lot of planning to do right. So it means you have to plan everything correctly. Something very important we need to know is that it's really hard to find 6 to 8 people with similar characteristics and gather all of them together in a same room at the same time. So that's one of the first things you should consider. You should consider when talking about a focus group. Then you have to make sure that when you have these people together, everybody is participating equally. Everybody's speaking and everybody is feeling comfortable. So you don't have only one person speaking and getting the whole attention because you are the leader of this focus group. You are the leader of this investigation. So make sure it's you who lead the conversation and not one of the persons you invited. It's very important that you memorize your questions so you can guide the discussion in a very gentle way. And again, make sure that everybody is comfortable. So here, for example, it's very important that when someone says something, you make this person feel happy, feel comfortable and confident about their participation. So you can use the information that they provide to continue with the next question or to connect with other idea. You can also cheer people about their ideas. You can congratulate people about their participation or about their opinions. Okay, I want you to look at her eyes. She seems a little bit shy, right? Or maybe a little bit nervous. It's very important we know that a focus group can be extremely dangerous if you are a shy person. And why is that? Okay, as you can see here, there is one person leading the conversation. So it means that you will have to be sitting or standing there with 6 to 8 people talking about something very important for your investigation. And you need to have eye contact. You are going to be between people that you probably don't know with different personalities, different characteristics. And that can make people nervous sometimes. So you must be sure that you can handle this kind of situations, like being there with new people, talking about thinking different, talking about a product or a service that you need to investigate. So you're going to have all kind of answers. In that way, you will feel comfortable too with the group and comfortable with yourself and with your investigation. And you are gonna feel like you want to be there. People must feel comfortable with you too. It means if you are nervous, people can tell that you are nervous. If you are sad, if you are happy. It's the same when you are shy, or even better, when you are self-confident, when you trust yourself. So people will feel comfortable with you too. Why is that? Because you are going to control the conversation. Why? To get good information or to get good data. Well, here they say that during interviews, it's also a good alternative. Do you remember we studied about interviews, face-to-face interview? Well, when you feel comfortable, when you are not shy and you talk to people, it's also a very good way to get information, not only in focus group, but also during interviews. Okay, with that, we finished like the first part of this class about how to prepare questions, how to behave with a group of people, right? Okay, so remember, and I'm going back to this presentation here. Remember to memorize your questions, to gently guide discussion, and make sure that everybody is comfortable with you. And don't be shy. If you are a shy person, then you should consider other way to study your market, other technique to study the market, or maybe asking someone else to lead the focus group for you. Okay? So now we're going to continue with the second part, which is what is the best way to record the data? Well, first of all, make sure that during your investigation using this technique, focus group, you have people working with you and maybe one or two people assisting you. Why is that? I'm going to explain you in 1 minute. So far, the best way to record data for a focus group is video. Why is that? Because videos help you make a more accurate transcript. And I'm going to explain you why. You know what transcript is? It's when someone is speaking and you're taking notes. You are writing what people say, just like the scripts in movies. So if you do that, you're not going to have this problem, right? Because you're probably like, oh, who was man 5? Who was woman 2? Or something like that. As you can see here in the picture, right? She's confusing. She doesn't remember who this person was. Okay, but if you watch the video, you can do things like that. So let's say that we have subject A, or maybe person A, or person 1, or woman 1, woman 2, etc. Okay, so that's the way. Here is the way you can call a person: subject, person, girl, man, woman, etc. So while you're watching the video, you can transcript with the time and say write the time they spoke and what they say more properly. Okay, so that's why making videos, it's the best option during a focus group. Okay, but if you have only audios, if you have only like voice notes, this can be very confusing for you, because you know sometimes people speak at the same time and then you can distinguish what they say or who said what. So that's why they recommend you to transcribe from videos and not only from voice notes. Okay, so as everything in life, there is something good and something bad about this way to record information. And here it says getting video means you'll get better data. Yes, of course, that's the best way. But, you know, when you're in a video, sometimes you can change your behavior. Like, you know that they're making a video of you and then you want to maybe, you are concerned about how you sit, how you speak, what you're wearing, you know, so maybe you can change your behavior a little bit. And as an investigator, you don't want that from your subjects, because you want people to be themselves. You want real data, real information for your investigation. So video is kind of dangerous in that way. So that's why you should ask permission, first of all. So people must know that you are going to make a video. Please make sure of that, okay? Once they know that they are going to be on a video and they say yes, you can go on with this. It's also very important that you find a balance, so in that way people can feel comfortable. So this is the thing. You make people know that they are going to be on a video, but also during the conversation, during the questions, they must feel comfortable enough to behave the way they are, to say what they want to say and how they want to say it. Got it? Now, if recording video makes your subjects uncomfortable, it means nobody wants to be in a video, or maybe one person is like, I definitely don't want to be on a video. So that's going to be like a trouble for you. Or maybe everybody is like, I don't know, I don't like it, I'm not wearing right, I don't feel comfortable. Okay, the reason they have for not being on a video, then you will have to take notes so you can write down as much as you can, and here you can get audio too, in this case. So this is like option B. Number one, like the best way to get information or to record information is through a video, because then you can transcribe the information more accurate. Option two is take notes and get audio too. In this case, if you're going to record information with your cell phone or with a hand recorder or with a voice recorder, well, then you will need people to help you. You will need people taking notes, as you can see here in the picture, because you're going to be busy talking to people, making questions, and it doesn't feel right when you're talking to someone and that other person is taking notes, right? Like, what happens when you are with your friends or your parents or brothers and you have something to say, right? You're very excited about something and you're talking to them and they are looking at their phones. Do you feel comfortable when you're talking to someone and this person is ignoring you because he's focused on taking notes or focused on their cell phones? Yeah, right. So it's pretty much the same. Like as students, like what would happen if you are talking to me? I'm on the desk, you are talking to me, you want to show me your homework or something, and then I'm just on looking at my notes, taking notes or checking homework, and I'm not looking at you. I'm telling you, I'm listening, but I'm not looking at you. It means like I'm not paying attention, right? So it is the same here in a focus group. You have all these people wanting to help on your investigation. They want to say something, and then if you take notes and you make questions, it's going to be like, uncomfortable for them. But if you pay attention to their answers, if you listen, if you continue with the questions, if you make eye contact, your body language says a lot, and other two people are taking notes, then it's okay, because everybody will feel comfortable. You will feel comfortable because you're listening, and they are going to feel comfortable because they are listening. Of course, they must know that someone else is going to be there taking notes, because it's part of the investigation. That's why, in my opinion, it's very important people know are participating on a focus group. Okay? Well, this is what I'm telling you can use, like someone taking notes and then a voice recorder. So with that, we finish part number 2. So part number 1, do you remember what we were talking about? it was about how to prepare it, right? Make people comfortable, have questions ready, memorize your questions, etc. Part 2, how to record data. And this part is about how many focus groups should you have during a market research. In your opinion, what do you think? Only one? Two? Remember that in one of the videos I already sent you, I told you that one of the advantages of focus group is that you can get more accurate information from the market and maybe deeper because you can go question after question and be like face to face with possible customers. But one of the disadvantages, which I consider like a very big disadvantage, is that the sample is not representative. It means that if, for example, you want to make a market research in Guayaquil and you have 4 million people in Guayaquil and you have only 6 to 8 people sitting in a room talking about the product you want to sell, what is going to happen? Do you think that 6 or 8 people represent the whole population of Guayaquil? No, right? It's not enough. So if you are going to work with focus group, like this is the only method that you can use, the one you feel more comfortable with, maybe the one you consider most appropriate for your investigation. In that case, one is not enough. One focus group is not enough. And here it says, especially focus groups are the only data source. So again, if we are talking about a huge market, like thousands of people or millions of people, considering a group of 5 or 8 people is not enough. So we're talking about more focus group, not only one. So a single focus group can help support or explain findings from other research methods. It means last week or last class, I told you that you can combine methods. So you can use maybe other methods, survey or maybe interview, and then focus group. Okay, so why focus group? Because focus group, talking to people, sitting together, people with similar characteristics, sitting together, talking about the same subject, is going to help you to find deeper information about your investigation. So it can help you defend your results more convincingly. Okay, so that's something good. If focus groups are the main way you are gathering data for your research, run at least 4 focus groups. You see? So one is definitely not enough. Only if you are using focus group. If you are combining maybe interviews or surveys or observations, any other investigation technique with focus group, in that case, maybe one is enough. But if it's only focus group, the recommendation is to make at least 4. When we say at least 4, it means that we can make more than 4. Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and how many you need to find out deeper information. In that case, your data reflects the diversity of your key population. Do you remember what a key population is? Or you have any idea what that is? When talking about key population, we are talking about people with similar characteristics. In other words, client profile. Remember that? You did a homework about that. It was about a chair. And also I showed you in a video a necklace for a dog. I show you shoes for soccer players and helmet for bikers. So here there is an example. For example, how do you define your key populations? In this case, okay, men, but what kind of men? Okay, I want to talk about married men, but not only married, but also angry birded men. Okay, so you see how I'm taking like a whole group of men and making it smaller, 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 because I'm considering specific characteristics about this group of people, about this key population or client profile. So participants should be similar enough to feel comfortable talking together, like you feel comfortable talking to people that have similar tastes like you, but different enough to reflect the diversity of that population. So it's a focused diversity. And if your group is not diverse, you might be better off doing interviews. Remember, interviews is one of the investigation techniques, right? You sit with a person and you talk, you make questions. It's like it's a face-to-face interview, so it's more personal. And here she says, because it's one-to-one, they are much simpler to plan. Got it? Okay. So how do you know it's going well or going poorly? Poorly is like not good enough. How do you know? You know that things are going good when you have people with similar characteristics. You see here, it's like all of them like dogs. In this case, one person says, oh, I like poodle puppies. And she said, yes, I love puppies, like in general, right? So probably these 6 people sitting here, all of them, they like puppies. Maybe here in the picture we can distinguish we have 2 men and 4 women. Probably they have different ages, probably different professions. So that's the diversity. They have like different gender, different professions, different age. But the similarities is that they like or they love puppies. You got it? So what happens if the group becomes polarized? It means we have like an odd answer there. In that case, the recommendation is to break it up into 2 focus groups. So you can combine people, you divide the focus group into 2 groups. So you won't have something like this, right? Because first we had 2 people who love dogs or puppies, and suddenly you have one person saying, oh, I hate dogs. So in that case, you know that your focus group is going poorly because you didn't choose the sample correctly. You didn't choose the members of your focus group with the characteristics you needed to be similar. Okay? So with this, I finished the explanation about focus group. And now here, I have some examples of questions, and I wanted to do something about with telemedicine clinic in your community. Why that? Because now that we can't go to the doctor, now that we can't go out like we used to before, people usually are having telemedicine appointments with their doctors. So I'm not telling you these are the questions that a doctor can ask you, no. I'm telling you that in a market research using a focus group, you as an investigator, here on the right, we have some questions you can use for your investigation. I repeat, not as a doctor, but as an investigator. For example, if you're talking about telemedicine clinic in your community, you can ask to your people in your focus group these kind of questions. Of course, during the conversation, probably people are going to tell you information. And remember that you have to be prepared with a desk research. So it means like you must be ready for different kinds of questions so you can improvise, you can get new questions, not only those you memorize, but also new questions about what people answer. So for example, you can ask, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about telemedicine clinic in your community? How did you form this impression? From what particular experiences? So if you pay attention, these two last questions are connected. Like this one is connected to this one, and this one is connected to this one. Let's suppose that now you are talking about perceived advantages and disadvantages of telemedicine. So first you had like how people feel about telemedicine. Now, what they know, what they understand, or how they perceive advantages and disadvantages. So these are examples of the questions. What are specific benefits about telemedicine? What are potential challenges? Would telemedicine address any specific gaps, issues you have with your present form of healthcare? You see how open the questions are because you are open to a conversation. That's why you make these kind of questions. Remember that we have closed questions, like yes or no, and also you have open questions. Most of the questions you use on a focus group must be open questions, so people can explain themselves. Let's suppose that now your questions are about ideal recipients of telemedicine care. These are some questions you can ask your people. Would you use telemedicine yourself? Would you recommend it to a friend? Will it be particularly suitable for older people, young children, etc.? And finally, you want to know about conditions and context of use. So these are going to be like the last question or questions you can ask to the group. For what types of health conditions would you be most comfortable using telemedicine? Okay, so people, as you will know, people will have all kind of needs and different needs, and probably you're going to have one or two people, or maybe most of people saying they don't like telemedicine and they're going to tell you why. Or the opposite, they prefer it like that. And also, what is very, very important, you are going to know why. You are going to know and understand the reasons, which will help in your investigation to take decisions. So after this focus group talking about telemedicine, you will know if you can provide that service, if it's worth it, or if it's not. Okay? So with this, we finish focus group. I'm very happy that you understood about this because focus group is something we use a lot here in Ecuador. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoy this class, and we're still learning a lot. So have a wonderful day. See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.